What a way to start. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Off the Dome Sports Podcast, your favorite sports podcast where 2 or 3 sports lovers sit and give their hot takes.
Off the Dome.
I am Redfish.
I'm Rebo Hustle.
And I'm Mustang.
And we are steering this ship today. Boys, how we doing?
It's great. Basketball is back
Basketball
today.
is back. Right now.
Who would have guessed? First basket of the NBA season, Anthony Davis.
I guess you.
Would you have guessed it?
No,
All right.
he's a bum.
Bum. Hot takes already.
Yeah.
Off the dome. Mustang, how we doing?
Pretty good. Yeah, I worked today and yesterday, but I'm off the next 3 days.
There we go.
So
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm feeling great mentally. A little tired, but
Yeah. Hey,
I'll
feel
ramp
that.
up the energy.
To the moon. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, as always, follow us on Twitter or the X, whatever you want to call it nowadays, _Dome Pod, as well as Facebook, Off the Dome Sports Podcast. Of course, you're probably watching us on YouTube, so make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Shout out to our boys over at The Know, at Be in the Know, KNEAUX, the only way to spell it, and that is on X and Facebook as well. Great work we're doing over there now with the Pelican season ramping up. Got tons of content coming at you. Really hoping we can, keep on this train rolling of the No Network, killing it out in the New Orleans and Louisiana sports scene. So start us out. Let's talk about a team that won before we get into the bad.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the LSU Tigers. 62-0.
I mean, yeah, you can't ask for much more.
I mean, what? We played the Army.
Yeah.
Kind of disrespectful to beat up on the Army like that.
Yeah.
Shutout's a shutout.
A shutout is a shutout.
And yeah. In any division, in any league, a shutout is still respectable. No
We
matter
didn't
who
shut
you're
out
playing.
Grambling.
What?
We didn't even shut out Grambling.
No, we didn't. No. We shut out the Army, though.
We did shut out the Army.
The old triple option, they just couldn't
Hey,
get going.
they really didn't run many triple options,
No,
to be
yeah.
honest. I was kind of shocked.
They threw the ball a few times. And I
They
was like,
did.
What is happening?
They threw the ball
Hey.
at least 6 times, which is crazy
That's
for
like
Army.
career numbers for Army.
Yeah.
Which brings us to your defensive MVP, Andre Sam, who
dog.
came from being what the hell first play of the year, missing a tackle against Florida State, being like, why is this guy even starting, to making 2 picks. And
I mean, he's actually,
Great game.
since the first game, I have seen a big improvement in his playing. Like, he still will miss a tackle occasionally, but his coverage ended up being a lot better after the
Highest graded DB on the LSU defense right now,
Yeah.
Andre Sam.
yeah, 2 picks makes it.
2 picks will do it for you. Yeah, I mean, the entire team played well. Jaden in the first half he looked like a Heisman candidate, as he should be.
further proved his point.
Yeah, further proved his point that he should be a Heisman candidate. I know it's Army, so it's not like you're playing some, rough and tough defense, but still, even when you're playing a bad team, you still need to put up numbers.
Right.
Which he did. Had the 86-yard to Brian Thomas where he rolled out the pocket. It really looked like a Madden playmaker play where you just roll out the pocket and send a guy downfield. And it ended up working. BT had a 86-yard touchdown. BT and Malik Neighbors both had over 120 yards. Both had 2 touchdowns. So we know our wide receiver combo is going to do it.
And they only had 3 and 4 catches.
Yeah, I mean, insane numbers out of the boys, for sure. Defense, as much bad as we talk about them, it doesn't matter who you're playing. If you pitch a shutout,
Right.
it's you're playing good football. And Army had a couple times where they got close to, I don't know if they were in the red zone, but at least got close to the red zone. Like, they were pushing the ball at some points, and we figured out how to stop them. So the defense is definitely making their improvements. Offense is insane. I mean, Nussmeier came into the third quarter and first drive. There was a bomb to Malik Neighbors. I mean, it was a perfect game all around.
Yeah.
Being in the stadium, the energy was insane to start the game. Like, it was a very busy game, even though we were playing Army. People were very respectful, which made me feel good. They had paratroopers land at midfield before the game started, which was a cool atmosphere. Army's the only team I've ever heard come out of the tunnel and people cheer for them. Usually, Tiger Stadium is very loud with boos. They cheered. People were on their feet. Standing ovation for Army. So, very respectful game. Very fun game to be at. But By the time I got back from the field up to the stands at halftime, there was 10,000 people there at most in a stadium that fits 103. So
something I thought was pretty cool was the way they painted the end zones.
yes, dope.
Little camo
Action for sure. Yeah, it was really cool. I had a great time at the game. I was there. Got to be on the field pregame and during halftime. So that was a fun experience for me. Yeah, it was just a good game. It was a good game. That's all there was to it. However, now we're looking forward to not this upcoming week where we have a bye week. We have time to rest, get some guys back from injury. We also have Tuscaloosa on the other side of it. Going down
big game.
Going down to Bama, where it's expected to be a top 15 matchup. As both teams are in the top 15 right now. LSU probably won't drop with having a bye week, so one can only assume that College Game Day will be there. They announced kickoff time, 6:45 on CBS that night, so it'll be the night primetime game on CBS, which means we'll probably have to listen to Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson. Just
again.
love Alabama as per the usual.
Yeah. Even when they're losing.
Dude,
They
we could
find a
beat them
way.
by 20, and they're going to talk about how good Alabama looked. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm really excited for this LSU-Bama game. I mean, every year we get up for it, but this year
Yeah, it's got a
feels like
different feeling,
it could
yeah.
go either way,
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, it kind of felt like this last year, but last year, not many people were expecting us to win. People thought it was going to be close per se, but not that close.
No, not a win it in overtime kind of close.
Right. Yeah. This year, I feel like kind of has the same vibe, maybe a little more competitive though. Like we'll have a few more people thinking that the Tigers can pull this off, which I personally do. I haven't seen anything that great out of Bama.
I think the interesting part about this game, and Rebo, you can add on to this right after, is that it's strength versus strength and weakness versus weakness. Bama's offense has not fully clicked yet, and obviously our defense isn't as great as our prolific offense, which is the best in the country by all measures. And Bama's defense has been playing Alabama defense most of this year, holding opponents, I think, to mostly under 24, under 20 points. And LSU scoring about 48, 49 a clip right now. So it'll be definitely an interesting game to watch, strength versus strength, weakness versus weakness, who comes out on top.
Yeah, I just feel like this is like the most beatable Saban squad that we've seen in a long time. It's like, one of the guys I work with, he's both a Saints fan and a Bama fan, and he literally posted on Facebook during the Bama game on Saturday and was like, I didn't know the Saints played on Saturdays, because it's the same story as the Saints. You hold the team to under 20, and sometimes you lose. Sometimes your offense finally figures it out. And so it's kind of weird that that's the parallel. Like, Saints and Bama are on a very similar streak this year. But all in all, this Bama team's nothing to take lightly.
Yeah,
like
never is.
we know that they're well coached. We know that they're gonna figure it out somehow, and so can't expect a shutout. Can't expect a high-scoring game. You're gonna expect something competitive out of the Bama every time.
Chippy.
I think the biggest difference between the Saints and Bama is that Bama does find a way to win.
Yeah, Bama always. Yeah.
We can move on from LSU because we're going to talk about them next week, specifically in that Bama matchup, because we do have this bye week this week to rest up. Talking about the Saints, another loss.
Yeah.
We are now under 500, 3-4, lost to the Jags, 31-24. I mean, at halftime, if you would have told me we finished within that amount of points, I would have been happy, because going into halftime, we just looked miserable.
Yeah.
It was like not fun game to watch. Ended up, in the fourth quarter, we scored 2 touchdowns, make it competitive. And then, unfortunately, we have that pass in the end zone off the fingers of Foster. And we don't end up pulling out the win. However, a lot of people were blaming Foster on social media. I don't think you can blame it on him. We should have never been in that position in the first place. You throw a pick six, your offense doesn't click until the fourth quarter. You shouldn't have to worry about 3 bad quarters of football and then 1 drop pass loses you the game. That's not how football works. And especially people taking it out on Foster after everything he's been through.
Yeah.
I mean,
Give the
just
guy a break.
read the room. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, bro didn't play football the entire offseason because he was battling cancer, and then he comes back, drops one pass, and you treat him like he deserves to be cut. Kind of ridiculous. But all in all, doesn't matter why we lost. All that matters is that we did. So what's the thoughts on the games, boys?
I did see improvement from the previous week, or previous weeks, I should say. I do think the offense still needs some work. Once again, I've said it before. I think it boils down to coaching. But other than that, I think the offense is playing well together as players. It's just some of the play calling is questionable.
Some would say.
Because you look back a few weeks ago, we shut out the New England Patriots, and not only did we shut them out, but we put up 34 points on them.
Yep.
To a team that just beat the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to say it was a bad look. It definitely felt bad watching it as a Saints fan, but going back and looking at the stats, the players really didn't have that bad of a game. It kind of just they played bad at the worst moments possible.
Yeah, I mean,
when it mattered, they didn't step up.
yeah. For us to have 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter and only score 24 points is alarming, to say the least.
Let's just continue to beat the dead horse, and that's what my takeaway from the game was. We look at
right.
Serial horse
Serial
killer.
Horse killer.
We look at the our red zone possessions and keep having to strike out with these, I keep calling them middle school football plays. This one guy runs a fade and we try to throw it to him in the corner of the end zone. That's the most uninspired play call I've ever seen in my life. But
Unless you're Mike Evans.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, when you're 6'5", it's different than when you're Michael Thomas and you're 6'1",
or you're Chris Olave,
who's
and he throws it in
also
the dirt
playing
too. I don't understand.
uninspired.
But it's just you see plays like that from the 3-yard line, and then we go for 2, and you see the best play call that we've seen all year.
Yeah.
Kamara comes in motion and then runs a quick out. I was like, oh my God, we actually called the play.
Yeah. It's really weird. It almost looks like there's 2 different play callers sometimes. Because in the fourth quarter, we were running with tempo. We were running quick outs, quick crossers, little check-offs. We were running plays that were guaranteeing us yards, which then opened up the game. Where normally we do the same exact thing every single drive and it never works. It's literally the definition of insanity sometimes with this Pete Carmichael offense.
Yeah. You know what I think might. Don't quote me on this, but
I'm not quoting
what
you.
if Pete Carmichael wants his scheme to work so bad that he's trying to force it, and then when he gets into the oh no moments, I need to step it up, he just pulls out the little notepad with all of Sean Payton's plays on it.
I mean, I don't know, because the Broncos suck too, so who knows? But no, it's really weird when you see moments like the first half where we don't do anything on offense, and then I've been saying, fourth quarter you score 2 touchdowns. Where does that come from? Where's the disconnect there? How do we turn into 2 different teams in one game?
Well, I mean, it was quite the opposite of what we have been seeing, where our offense comes out clicking. The first half they play a lot better, especially towards the beginning of the season, and then the second half they kind of figure out what we're doing, and we just don't have a second option.
Yeah.
I feel like it might be one of this game felt like the best offensive scheme that we've seen so far out of the Saints. We were moving the ball. Yeah, the points weren't coming. Similar to the Texans game where we saw the 2 best drives of the year. This game, I don't think that we had too many just absolutely terrible drives back to back to back. It's just, I think it's down to the red zone play calling at this point. That's why I brought it up a second ago. And running a fade with people that aren't necessarily fast enough to run fades, necessarily big enough to run fades. I just don't agree with a singular route being run, and that's the only route being run. And that also brings us to the rest of the play calling where you see uninspired routes out of receivers because they're just not in the play, that like they're not even an option.
Yeah, so last night we went to get some food while watching ALCS Game 7 and Monday Night Football, and Clown Carr was with Rebo Hustle and I, and he proceeded to scream at me in the middle of the restaurant because I said Chris Olave was a problem. This was after finding out he got arrested, by the way. After finding out he got arrested, I say this man's a problem, and I got berated. I'm not talking about off the field because, obviously, if you're getting arrested, you're not doing great off the field. He was going double the speed limit in a residential zone, got arrested, it released from jail. So, first of all, let's figure that out. Not a great look. I don't really care what the situation was. If you get clocked going double the speed limit, you're probably not doing something right. I understand there's always more to a story than what you find out. Yeah. But still, there has to be some self-responsibility and accountability there. But specifically talking about on the field, we have seen moments where he just slows down at the top of routes, doesn't look like he's cutting like last year. Chris Olave's whole thing was he was a deep threat because he was killing guys at the top of routes. Like his release point, he would shake a guy and then he'd be open down the sideline, and that's what we knew Chris Olave for last year. Is when Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston or whoever was throwing the ball last year, when they were unloading at 45, 50 yards, you knew Olave was on the other side of that ball. Now, every time that happens, there's nobody there because it looks like Olave's just not playing with the same inspiration and the same drive that he did last year. Whether that has to do with his relationship with Derek Carr, like some people are talking about, whether it has to do with the play calling where he's just not feeling a part of the offense, he's not feeling like he did last year, whether it's something going on with himself, like his toe's still hurting and he can't fight through the pain, whatever the case is, it's hard to look at Chris Olave this year versus last year and say he's the same player.
Exactly.
And I don't think that's that bad of a take. Like, I don't think I should, have to defend that hard.
No.
But apparently I do. So I don't think Chris Olave is the problem on this offense. That's not what I'm saying, because we have 30 different problems. I'm saying his play is one of many.
Yeah, it's not helping.
It's an attitude problem.
It is an attitude. I'm not saying he's not skilled, because I said this last night, and you can defend me. When Chris Olave is playing at his best, he is a top 10 NFL wide receiver.
Correct. We saw it last year.
We did,
As a
and we
rookie.
saw it a game. I think he had a game this year where he had 130 yards or something. When he's playing at his best, he's unbeatable. He's him. But with the offensive line not staying healthy, and even when they are healthy, they're not playing great. Play calling being a problem, head coaching not looking like they can control the players, our quarterback throwing temper tantrums in the middle of games, our running back trying to hold people accountable and nobody listens, another wide receiver going on Twitter and using his thumbs to talk about how he feels about a certain situation, which I know Rebo Hustle wants to talk about.
Oh yeah, I'm with you.
There is 800 problems on the offense right now, so I'm not saying Chris Olave is the issue. I'm saying that there is a bunch of issues that is leading to him having a problem.
So I don't know which tweet came first, whether it was Michael Thomas answering Dan Orlovsky, because Dan Orlovsky put out something saying well, why is this the route that we're throwing? And then Michael Thomas was like, this is our route progression. And so that made sense. But then I don't know if I saved it. I'm gonna have to find it. But he just started going out at fans about things like route progression and such, and I'm just at a loss for words of why you'd even care enough to put that out there and berate a fan or berate anybody that's not in your locker room whenever you can just berate your locker room, and that's locker room talk.
Yeah. There's a lot of people always talk about the players only meeting and what does it actually mean? What do they actually talk about? Why are you having this kind of meeting? But it happened last year. I remember specifically, we talked about it on the podcast. LSU had a players-only meeting at one point last year. And it was after the Tennessee game. And we started playing football after that Tennessee game. That's when we played Ole Miss and beat a ranked Ole Miss team. We beat Alabama. Jaden Daniels got on the same page as his wide receivers.
What?
Hello. But I'm not saying it's the same at the professional level. Like, all these guys have been in, like, we have a bunch of veterans. It's not like we have a bunch of rookies. Derek Carr's been in the league for forever. Michael Thomas been in the league for forever. Our offensive line, we have one rookie, but he doesn't even play.
Don't even get me or Rebo started on that.
Well, Nick Saldivaris, who I was talking about, but also Trevor Penning, with who's gotten benched 2 weeks in a row when we already have a hurt offensive line. Don't know. Chris Olave's in his second year. Rashid Shaheed's in his second year. We have so many locker room guys on the defense, and yet it feels like there's been no development as far as the players figuring it out. Because, we do have a problem with the coaching. I think all of us have admitted that the coaching is not where it needs to be right now. But whenever coaching's not going your way, it's up to the players to execute. And it feels like they're not doing that. So I think it's problems on all levels right now. Clown Car called me out for this last night too. I said in our group chat after that game, I was like, it might be time to just scrap it. I still kind of feel that way. It's hard for a 3-4 team who still has a chance in their division, because the rest of the division sucks too, to be like, oh yeah, we just need to clean house. But also, is this a sustainable model of football? Like, I just don't see it right now. I hate to be negative because I love my team, and I could change my tone in 3 weeks if we come out and win 3 straight games. But something's not working. Like, it's obvious that whatever we're doing right now isn't working. So we need to address it.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
And I think if something does become addressed or gets addressed, that going forward, I mean, as early as next week, we could see a huge improvement. And they could totally flip this thing around. But, if we keep up the same pace, it's going to be tough.
Granted, our players do have to stay out of jail in order to do that.
Yeah, correct. At least he wasn't under the influence.
True.
That's
Also,
the only positive takeaway I have on it.
There was a video released. First video Kenner Police has posted on their YouTube in over 5 years was Chris Olave's arrest video. So that also says a little bit of something about the Kenner Police Department. So just not a great situation in general. They released it. He was very cooperative. He was very understanding what he did was wrong. He was like, man, I play for the Saints, man. And the cop goes, so? And they were like, oh, all right. So
that's how it should be.
Yeah. So just a weird situation. Hopefully it all gets figured out. Hopefully, he doesn't get suspended. We'll see what happens with that situation. But hopefully, everything turns out all right and the Saints offense can get back to clicking.
Hopefully
Rebo,
it's a wake-up call for him.
It looks like you want to drop some news over here, so I'd love to hear what you got to say.
Update on his
He does have an update.
Yeah, so
from Instagram.
From Saints back to LSU. Evidently, Brian Kelly came out today and said Zy Alexander and Mekhi Wingo may or may not play next week. So we'll have to keep y'all updated on that next Tuesday. And also Denver Harris and Deuce Chestnut are still in the program, just not playing.
Okay. So, news to me. Zy Alexander is technically our number one corner, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not like he's...
With Denver Harris and Deuce Chestnut not playing yet.
Yeah, it's not like he's, number one corner talent, but he's our number one corner. Mekhi Wingo is our number 18. So you know what he means to the team. And then Deuce Chestnut and Denver Harris also not. So if we are out all 4 of those guys against Bama, that doesn't make me feel great.
No, yeah.
For sure.
But we've got a week to heal up those.
Yeah. They got a bye week.
Guys.
They got a bye week. They'll be all right?
He just said that they're going to miss some time. So maybe that's practice time. Maybe that's game time. We don't know.
I hope it's not game time.
We'll have an
say
update
that much.
next week, that's for sure.
We sure will. Well, that took a turn.
I found that trying to look for the other Michael Thomas tweet, but I found the Dan Orlovsky one, but it's different. Yeah.
Rebo, would you like to talk about what you're repping today?
A beanie when it's 80 degrees outside.
It's my Pels beanie that goes with this shirt. Therefore, I had to wear it. Because it is day 1 of the NBA season. We get to see New Orleans Pelicans tomorrow. Let's get a score update.
Tomorrow.
What are the Nuggets doing to the Lakers right now? The Nuggets are up 56-48.
All right. Okay. I may or may not have had an 8-leg parlay on that game. Who knows?
So the broadcast at the beginning of the game were talking about, LeBron's not showing any regression yet. And like he's not. I mean, he's not Heat LeBron anymore, but he's still a very good NBA player.
Correct.
But they were saying with the pieces changing from last year to this year, you're almost going to need an Anthony Davis MVP season for them to be contenders. And so I think that it's possible, but how inspired is Anthony Davis? And that's what we talked about yesterday, because we were trying to figure out who the number 3 center in the league was.
Yeah. I was actually gonna ask that to Mustang. Is last night we were talking about basketball because obviously it's upon us now, and everybody agrees Jokic and Embiid 1-2.
1-2, yeah.
I mean, you can't deny that. Who's the third best center in the league? I have my own thoughts because I'm a big fan of one particular basketball player.
Al Horford.
God, no. I have my own thoughts. Rebo, who did you say?
I said an inspired Anthony Davis.
An inspired Anthony Davis. But an uninspired Anthony Davis does not make the cut.
No.
I personally said Bam Adebayo, Miami Heat center.
But if I didn't get an inspired, I said Domantas Sabonis.
He did say Sabonis.
Sabonis, big bet hitter last year.
The Kings won me so many bets last year.
The old Sabonis Fox.
The old Fox 20 plus 6 plus assists, Sabonis 15 plus 6 plus assists. That parlay in particular won me at least 6 times. Just saying. May have to re-up that one this year too.
Out of 82 games, got him at least 6 times.
That's a pretty good ratio. I didn't bet all 82 games, man. I bet like probably 15.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I can't really.
Off the dome, some would say.
Yeah. If we were like back a year, probably would have went with Ayton, but he's definitely going down.
Reese hates DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, I know.
We talked about that yesterday too. We also we re-upped that Kyrie Irving debate we had from a while back about is Kyrie Irving a top 50 NBA player, and I'm like yes, and Reese is like no, and then we go through the top 100.
And we got back to would you rather have Paolo Banchero or Kyrie Irving?
Kyrie Irving.
Y'all are wrong.
And the basketball guy tells us
y'all don't know ball.
We don't know ball.
Yep.
That's what the basketball guy tells us. So we'll see. We also did a little bit. What's your hot take for the year? I'll give you time to think about it. Obviously,
I'm gonna come up with a center too.
Yeah, come with the center and come with the hot take for this NBA season since it does start tonight. Rebo, why don't you give us yours first? Because I loved Reese's.
Speaking of Paolo Banchero, I think that the Magic are gonna make the playoffs, not make the play-in, be one of the top 6 seeds. I think that that's
what he said.
This young team gets another year to gel together, and defensively they don't have many holes. Offensively they are mismatched nightmares. I really think that this Magic team is going to be special.
It was a take. It was a take that was said. That's how I feel about that take. Listen, if we're looking for hot takes, that is hot. That is hot. I mean, I don't mind it, but it's a hot take. Did you come up with anything, or would you like me to go with my
There was a few names that popped in my head. One of which, if we're talking like a traditional center, like big man in the paint, gonna play defense, gonna get you boards, I like a Clint Capella. I think he plays very traditional center role, and he plays it well.
This man said, I want rebounds and back to the basket.
Correct.
All right.
Either that or maybe like a Big Daddy Zubac.
Big Daddy Zubac. Okay. Interesting. You did not pick
Look out for him this year.
He did not pick any of the names I would have thought.
FanDuel agrees with me is all I'm saying. Well, not necessarily exactly, but they have better odds than the Nets.
Yeah. Okay. So do probably 9 other teams, Reese.
They're the 10th highest odds.
Exactly. I just said that. All right. Anyway, my hot take for the NBA season. I didn't say this one last night, but I did some digging today, and this is how I feel about it. All 5 Pacific Division teams. So the Warriors, the Suns, the Clippers, the Kings, and the Lakers will all make playoffs.
That's bold.
It is bold. It's crazy to think because you only get 8 spots. So that would leave 5 spots in with the Pels, the Mavericks, the Timberwolves, the Thunder, the Jazz, the Grizzlies, all fighting for 3 spots. If all 5 of the Pacific teams make it, you get the Nuggets in there. That makes 6. Pels, 7. And then Memphis, 8. That doesn't sound that crazy once you put it like that, does it?
No.
Just saying. That my take every NFL year is that a whole division is going to make the playoffs. So I'm moving that into the NBA. That's actually what I did. Is I looked at the division that had the highest odds of all 5 teams making it, and I decided the Pacific Division was that. So my hot take is that all 5 Pacific Division teams will make the playoffs. Not only just the play-in, not 5 top 10 teams, 5 top 8 teams.
According to FanDuel, the only hot take out of that is the Kings, which were the 3 seed last year. So
you're trying to tell me my take isn't hot enough?
I mean, it's pretty hot.
Thank you.
But
Sounds like I'm the basketball guy.
Sounds like you know ball.
I know ball.
didn't that happen last year though?
No.
Who missed?
Somebody. The Lakers didn't make the playoffs last year, did they?
Lakers
Yeah,
made
they
the
did.
Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, they did.
They were up there.
Warriors made it. Lakers made it. Kings made it. Suns made it. Did the Clippers make it? All right. Well, guess it's not that hot. How about you go and I'll think of another one. Thanks, Reese. Way to make me look dumb. Jerk.
Let me double check your Clippers, but
All right. Whatever, man. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mustang.
I haven't,
Hello. Talking about serial horse killers.
talking about itching to get in somewhere. I haven't really had the time to do all my research on the upcoming NBA season. And working a lot, just got off a turnaround a few weeks ago. But I do know about the big trade,
The big trade.
the Lebowski of trades.
The Lebowski of trades.
So many moving pieces. But mainly the Bucks acquiring Dame.
Yep. That happened.
And you know what I got to say about it?
What do you got to say?
They're not going to be as good as people think they are.
Oh, let's go. I had a different hot take last night that agrees with that. I said Dame scores under 20 points a game this year.
Could be
That's-
possible.
He hated it.
that's absurd.
Could happen. Could happen.
If he is able to stay on the court.
Oh, might not be healthy, you say. Interesting. So where do you put
He
the
agreed
Bucks
with
then?
that part.
Where do you put the Bucks?
I do still see them making the playoffs. I mean, it's hard not
Yeah.
to when you have Giannis.
Yep.
Him alone.
Yep.
Maybe like a 5 seed,
5 seed. That would be crazy for the Bucks. That would be a fall off for sure.
5 or 6.
Because I think if you look at the Eastern Conference right now and the Bucks fall anywhere lower than 3, it's a disappointment for sure. So I would categorize that take as hot.
Your take was cold, by the way.
Why did they all 5 made it last year?
Yes.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Back to back.
Hotter take. Cleveland Cavaliers finishes the 1 seed.
Hotter take. None of them make it.
That would be crazy. No,
Hottest take.
Cleveland Cavaliers finishes the 1 seed in the East. That's my hot take.
Great take.
I love it.
They are a team.
A young, inspired team.
Young hot guys, some would say.
He would say.
He would say. I love Donovan Mitchell. I have a Donovan Mitchell jersey in my room. Love Jared Allen. Great ball player. Darius Garland. Fantastic ball player.
Mm-hmm.
Karis
you go.
LeVert. Great ball player.
You just spit on the best NBA player in the league right now.
Jetty Osman.
We know this is a bit.
Reese loves this one guy. He's out of USC, 7-foot power forward, can do everything. I don't think he's that great.
We're not doing this.
If
right
you
now.
look at him on the court, he looks fragile.
Yeah, he does.
Evan Mobley is the best defender in the league right now.
No, I just like messing with Rebo Hustle. No, Evan Mobley, great ball. Like I think the Cavaliers are full of good
I can't
talent.
believe he just said that over John Isaac.
True.
Jonathan Isaac has played 4 games in the past 4 years, so
He's
lost that one.
He's played less than Zion.
Hey, this is his year.
Yeah,
we thought that last year.
Coming
He played
from the
4.
Boston Celtics guy, it's hard to say the Cavs are gonna make the 1 seed because I mean,
That's why I liked it.
you got the Celtics adding Drew Holiday, keeping Jaylen Brown, who still hasn't learned how to dribble with his left hand.
Hey, he's the highest paid basketball player in the league.
Not after Giannis's contract yesterday.
This is true.
3 for 182.
Giannis got an extension yesterday.
Yeah, like $60 million a year. Crazy. But okay,
How
so
much ramen I could buy
that
with
was-
that money.
About 60 million packets.
so that was our NBA league talk. Let's talk about the Pels in particular, Rebo. What's your expectations for the Pels this year? Or even what's your expectations for the Pels on opening night?
On opening night,
Do you
against
possibly
the
see
Grizz.
a rookie of the year in our future?
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
You don't like Jordan Hawkins?
He doesn't.
I
Confirmed.
like Jordan Hawkins. I don't
Doesn't
think he's
sound like
going to be rookie of the year, not being a starter.
He might be a starter at some point.
Yeah.
With the health of our team, you never know. Trey Jemison might get re-signed and be a starter.
This is terrible.
This guy doesn't even know Trey Jemison. Not a ball knower.
Okay.
Doesn't know ball.
Matt Ryan.
So things to
37.
expect game 1. The Grizzlies had the tough news of learning Steven Adams is out for the year. So that opens the paint up a little bit more for Zion. I know Jaren Jackson Jr. won Defensive Player of the Year last year.
The
But-
Grizzlies have been our kryptonite.
True.
But the Grizzlies notoriously have run the defense against Zion with Steven Adams hanging out around Herb Jones. So, and ultimately coming in to help whenever Zion touches the paint. And so if you don't have a long athletic guy like Steven Adams to do that, I don't think that they're going to be very good this year. Starting Xavier Tillman, they might miss the playoffs.
Wow. Didn't they get the 2 seed last year?
Yes.
Interesting. Now that's a hot take.
They're also missing 25 games of John Morant.
They're missing 25 games of their best player and Steven Adams all year. So that's fair. Things might be looking up for the Pels tomorrow night. We are missing Najee Marshall and Trey Murphy though. 2 players who will obviously be in the rotation.
Jose playing?
Questionable. The only 2 guys listed as out right now are
Okay.
Najee Marshall and Trey Murphy.
Okay.
So Larry Nance and Jose Alvarado are
Questionable.
yet to be seen.
Grand Theft Alvarado.
I think Alvarado's out though because I think they said he's getting reevaluated in 2 weeks, which is the most Pelicans thing of all time. Somebody gets hurt, yeah, we'll check him out in 2 weeks, and then you check him out in 2 weeks, and then it's gonna be another 2 weeks, and then lo and behold, 12 weeks go by.
Yeah.
So I don't think Alvarado's playing. I don't know about Larry Nance, but Kira Lewis Jr. is going to play a big part in our second unit. A guy who I haven't been the most fond of, and Dyson Daniels should see some time. But the most important part is our starting 5 is healthy.
Correct.
So, all in all, I think the Grizzlies are favored by 1.5. Over-unders at 228. Do you think the Pels get their season opener dub?
There's not a doubt in my mind right now.
Does he know ball? We will find out
believe-
tomorrow
Bet the
night.
house on it.
I believe Marcus Smart has been sitting out of the preseason. I don't know if that's injury related or not. And so they've been running a starting lineup of like Derrick Rose, Desmond Bain, Salty Aldama,
Who?
Jaren Jackson Jr. and Xavier Tillman. And if we're looking 5-on-5,
I'll
starters
take
for
our
starters,
5 all
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Now Salty Aldama's a dog.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously. Who
His
doesn't know
brother,
that?
his brother Pepri Odama, also great player.
And then their cousin Paprika Odama.
Dog. He's too young though. He'll make it to the league in a couple years.
He'll come over to America.
Here we go.
Yeah. Salty Peppery and Paprika.
Can't even talk ball in this house.
We've been talking ball for 40 minutes.
39.
This guy doesn't even know garlic powder. Unbelievable.
Garlic
yeah.
powder Aldama.
Everything bagel Odama.
What is wrong with this?
This is going to be a bit for a long time.
Oh yeah, the Odama brothers. There's a lot. There's a lot of them. So Pels win.
How do you spell Odama?
Aldama. ALDMA.
Okay. ALDMA. Altman.
Noted.
Maybe an AMA.
AMA, yeah.
Cayenne. We'll see. But yeah, Pels.
Crushed
Hopefully
red
the
pepper.
Pels can get a win. What's our win total looking like? I think we're at like 45.5 before the season starts. We're going over or under on that.
Over. I didn't expect him to look like this. He looks like an actor, a paid actor.
But he's also like 6'9".
He
He's
also
huge.
has huge ears.
He's huge.
He's 6'11".
Yeah, even better. Even bigger. Where's our over-under is what you asked me, correct?
That is not what I expected.
Exactly.
Oh wait, his name is Santi? I thought he said Salty. That's why I started this whole bit.
He did.
I thought it was Sol D with a D.
Oh, so now the bit is ruined.
No, it's gonna
still there.
continue.
Okay, cool.
You asked where the over-under line is.
Yeah.
Can't say if healthy, but give me over-under 49.5 wins.
Oh, he's changing the line.
You didn't tell me. I didn't know you told me the line.
He said
I said 45.5.
Oh, then I'm taking over every time.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I missed it. I was looking up
So
Santi Aldama.
45.5 we're taking the over, but 49.5 I would take the under. I think we
this is a
slide in
50
at
win
a
team.
beautiful
47.
48 wins. A beautiful 48 wins. And that's me taking into account that Zion is going to miss 20 games. Brandon Ingram's going to miss 10 games. CJ's going to miss 10 games. Herb's going to miss 6 games. Jonas is going to miss some
Sound
games.
Man is active.
24.
He's not drinking the Kool-Aid this year.
24 wins.
Not enough
if
sugar in
this
it.
Pelicans team gets 24 wins, fire Willie Green, trade Brandon Ingram, trade Zion, trade CJ, trade Jonas,
Fresh slate.
build around Trey Murphy III.
Build around Jose.
Well, yeah, Jose can stay. It's our starting lineup will be Jose, Jordan Hawkins, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, and whoever we draft at number 1 overall, which is going to end up being a center.
So 50 wins.
I don't know.
50 wins as like if we did that last year, that would give us
This is
a 3
third?
seed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
that's why I think that 50 wins is legit.
I think
the catfish head.
keep Soundman's
Shout
back
out
at it, baby.
Herb.
Shout out Herb. But yeah, I think this is a top 6 seed. If all goes well. Like if we stay healthy enough, this is a top 6 seed. If we don't stay healthy, still might be a top
We
6
could also
seed.
get rid of the ladies in the gold vests. They don't need to be there.
Here we go again. Attacking security for doing their job.
Yeah. Dude brings a vape into a Pelicans game and expects to be able to hit it.
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah.
And then blames his dad.
No, I didn't blame him.
No. He thought she was talking to his dad. And then when he found out she was not talking to his dad, then he was offended. Shout out to the Pelicans. Let's get on to some betting. Huh?
Nah,
What do you
okay.
say?
Nah.
What do you say? So last week, be honest with you, don't remember what my parlay was. Can't tell you if it hit or not. I didn't actually bet it. Didn't screenshot it. That's on me. Hand up, my fault. That's on me. Mustang, talk about your parlay.
Do I have to?
Yes, please.
So, as I log in to get my new bet up.
Rebo Hustle, why don't you?
Mine was a
Um,
future, so
yeah.
Yeah, his
the
was a
world may
future.
never
No.
know.
Yeah, it's not going to hit. We already talked about that.
Last pod, I cut a huge promo because, of how I felt. I let my emotions get the best of me,
Mm-hmm.
And I apologize.
Hey, it's okay. I forgot my parlay entirely. At least you remember yours.
Mine went 0 for 4
Oh, not great.
on probably the weirdest weekend of professional football I've ever watched. The most exciting game was the Browns versus the Colts.
That's so true. That was a high-scoring affair.
And I bet the Browns to win, they minus 2.5.
As one would.
And they won by 1.
True.
I watched a lot of that game because we picked up Kareem Hunt. It was the very
It was a very, talking that, yeah. Shout out.
Yeah, I also bet 49ers to win by 7. They lost.
Yeah.
Lions plus 3. They lost
Don't talk
by
about my Lions.
32.
Don't talk about my Lions, man. I don't want to talk about it.
I really think that they played that bad just because of what we had said about the Ravens. the Ravens played that good because of what we said about them not playing good.
Yeah, and they were my Super Bowl pick, so I'm kind of glad. Honestly, Lions versus Ravens, we'll run it back. Don't worry about it. We'll see it again.
Here we go.
We'll see it again.
And then our
Sorry about
last
it.
leg,
Might be another 32-point game.
You're going to get 32 punches to the face.
I
if you
bet
don't shut
on
up.
one of the hottest underdogs of football this season in the Commanders.
Hot young guys.
Ooh. Ooh.
And they had no offense.
They didn't have much of anything.
Their defense played good.
Yeah.
Their offense did not.
Not great. Not great. So,
But this week, it's okay.
Yeah.
We'll come back. I feel like I bet on some safer games. So, again, four-leg parlay, all NFL.
okay.
First one on the slate. And they're all noon games.
All right. So we'll know early in the
Yeah.
day.
Noon.
First on the slate, Jags at Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Jags minus 2.5.
Okay.
Easy.
Sounds about right.
Steelers haven't looked very good this season. Their defense especially hasn't been up to the standard that the Steelers defense usually
Until
is.
TJ Watt gets a pick. That happened.
It did. Next up, Houston Texans at Carolina Panthers, minus 3.
Easiest bet of all time.
Carolina cannot win a game.
CJ Stroud's a top 10 quarterback.
CJ Stroud can't lose.
True.
Wow. Looking
talk
at this
about
now, I picked all the away teams.
Oh.
So
Bad
next
week.
up, we got
Bad week to be a home team.
Vikings at Packers, divisional game. Vikings just coming off a huge win against one of the best teams in the league. Vikings minus 1.5.
Oof.
And then lastly, I bet against them the week before.
Mm-hmm.
Time to make things right. Ravens at Cardinals. Ravens minus 8.5.
Yeah. That feels good.
Put that together for plus 12.99.
$12.99.
So,
That's a good lunch.
what happens? So, if the Ravens lose to the Cardinals, can we say that the Cardinals are better than the Lions?
No, we can't.
We can say that Sam Howell looked like Aaron Brooks.
Probably. Howell looked like Aaron Brooks. Wow. If Soundman says it, it's got to be
Gotta
true.
be true. Soundman, what do you have on bets this week?
Yeah. Give us your bet. We know it's going to be a 2-leg parlay that's plus 264.
A spread and
It's going to be a spread
over-under.
and an over-under. We know, but we need to know which
Might
game.
be a money line.
We need to know which game. Not a money line. He would never stoop that low. Give it to us, Reeves.
So, I'll stand on this soapbox again. It's the first day of the NBA season. We're betting NBA.
Woo!
So,
Basketball.
Tonight's game tips off is at 9 o'clock Central for the Suns Warriors.
1 hour and 11 minutes away.
Kevon Looney, 10 rebounds. Easy. Easiest
Free
thing
bet.
of all time.
Easy, he says.
Free money.
bet. Okay.
Grayson Allen, over 1.5 threes. Easy.
Attempted or made?
Made. He's going to be wide open in that
He's
Suns.
going to attempt like 12.
So Grayson Allen's going to hit 1 3, and Kevon Looney's
2.
going to get 9 rebounds.
2. He's gonna
Got
hit
it.
2. It's 1.5.
No. I know. Grayson Allen's going to hit 1 3. Kevon Looney's going to grab 9 rebounds.
And a
Here we go.
half. He'll tip the ball.
Rebound.
KD for 25 points.
KD scoring 24.
And Curry for 3 made threes.
Curry's actually going to do that.
He's gonna
that
make
one's
7.
Yeah, I'm not taking that one back. That's not a bad bet. I
No,
mean,
Yeah. And the odds show that because it's only plus 323.
Wow.
for a 4-leg parlay, Reese, you're talk about hot takes,
Yeah.
huh?
I didn't say they were hot.
Oh.
I'm just trying to make money.
See, I hate
That's
parlays
fair.
like
I
that
like
because
that.
there's so much has to happen, and you still don't win a lot.
Yeah, it's fine.
But
Hey,
Those are almost
Yeah.
guarantees.
The
Not
little
winning
ones
a
add
lot.
only
up.
thing I'm worried about.
not winning a lot is still more than winning nothing.
Exactly.
The only one I'm worried about is Kevin Durant. I think the other 3 are locks.
Sure,
Lock.
if you say so.
Now watch. Kevin Durant's going to be the only one to do it.
Probably.
So I've also got a 4-leg parlay. I split college and NFL 2 and 2, like I did a couple weeks ago. This one, I don't know. I honestly don't know how I feel about it, but
Your own bet.
yep, we're gonna go for it. Why not?
You did bet on Nebraska.
Yeah, he did.
All right, shut up.
Let's bring
first,
that topic back.
No, we don't have to. First leg is one that Mustang already pointed out. Houston Texans -3 against the Carolina Panthers. Y'all know how I feel about the Houston Texans.
And you know how we feel about the Carolina Panthers.
Easier said than done.
Yeah. Battle of
Miles Sanders might be back.
Doesn't change my opinion
battle
whatsoever.
of picks 1 and 3.
1 and 2, right?
2.
No, Stroud went 2. Will
Stroud-
Anderson went 3.
okay,
Yep. Face off of the rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah, 1 through 3, honestly.
Yeah, 1 through 3. So we'll see how that goes. I'm taking my boy C.J. Stroud to win that game. Los Angeles Rams at the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas has looked pretty
I
bad
almost bet
recently. I'm taking the Rams +6.5 at Dallas.
I almost took that too.
Dallas is coming off a bye week, so that is something we have to consider. However,
Dak looked amazing against the Chargers on Monday Night Football, by the way.
I couldn't care less how Dak looked against a 2-4 Chargers team.
Here we go.
Dak has looked terrible all season. I'm not using one game where he scores 20 points
It's the most recent one.
Okay, great. Derek Carr threw for 303 yards in his last game, and we still lost, so I don't care.
He threw for 400 the week before, and we lost that game.
There we go.
Fair enough.
All right, so moving into the college realm, Oregon -6.5 going into Utah. That'll be a battle.
Yeah,
That'll be a fun game.
I like that game.
That'll be I don't really
Utah.
care if my bet hits on that
I was
one.
gonna say,
I just
I
want to
like the
watch the
game.
game.
But -6.5 is a lot.
It is. It is a lot, especially after Utah beats USC.
Punched him in the mouth.
However, I think Oregon could have beaten Washington. And I don't know. I just like this Oregon team. I like their spunk.
Are you a Bo Nix believer?
No. I like everything but Bo Nix. I like Dan Lanning. I like
the uniforms.
the attitude. The uniforms are beautiful. Those throwbacks that they have. Oh, beautiful jerseys.
Fun fact, in a Retro Bowl college, I'm currently managing the Oregon Ducks.
Good for you. I'm a Georgia Tech man myself.
I started at Nichols.
I'm Bryce's favorite team to bet on, Nebraska.
There we go. So Oregon -6.5 going into Utah. And then I've got another top 25 matchup. Duke and Louisville. And I've got Duke going into Louisville and covering the spread at 4.5. So Duke +4.5.
Yeah.
I think they'll probably win that game.
Yeah, you said that earlier, and I I heard you say +4.5, and I knew what you meant, but in my head, I could not picture them as not being favorite to win this game.
I don't know if it's I don't know if Riley Leonard's back yet, and I think
I think he's hurt.
I think that's probably the big part of it is that Riley Leonard's out, who is their starting quarterback, and he's been great this year. But they're still a top 25 team, and they've been
so
without him
good.
without 2 weeks. So I think Duke has what it takes to beat Louisville. I know Louisville beat Notre Dame, but Duke lost to Notre Dame on a last-second drive. So I think that'll be a close game, and it'll be a good game. So give me the 4.5 spread on that one. So Texans -3, Rams +6.5, Oregon -6.5, Duke +4.5, 4-leg parlay +12.26.
Nice.
So that's where we're sitting at.
And then we get an update. Soundman
did
has
get an
sent in his incredible 2-leg parlay. And can you believe he bet on
I hate this. This is disgusting.
Titans playing home against the Falcons. He took the Titans money line and the over of 36.5.
He took a money line just to spite me because I said he wouldn't do it.
He took a money line and over.
Also, the odds higher than he's used to, so I know he's peeing down his leg right now because they're not 264, they're 310. So he doesn't know what to do with himself.
Panic pick.
Titans money line against the Falcons and over 36.5.
Sorry, Soundman. But
No,
I'm
you know,
wrong.
I
He's
say
right.
that sometimes, and then
Yeah,
he just hits.
I don't like it either, but it's going to happen now.
Yeah.
I don't like the over part because the
I don't
Falcons
like that
have
game.
run the ball so much this season, and that's what they've leaned on offense.
Apparently not with Bijan.
Yeah, not with Bijan.
He had 0.5 fantasy points.
Yeah, don't remind me. I still won. But boy, did it make me angry.
But the Titans have been, I believe, the number 9 rush defense for this year, and so I'm not loving the over, but Soundman knows more than me.
Knows more than me, too. I'll tell you that much. Speaking about winning in fantasy football, the Rhythm and Blues, 5-2. 5-2 out of the boys.
I pulled off an ugly loss.
You did. So one of us is 5-2, the other's 2-5. Won't mention which one's which, but I already did. However, we have to be frank here. He did lose Nick Chubb
Along with
And Mike Williams.
and Mike Williams,
and Justin Fields.
and also traded, which looks like a great trade now because he
Yeah.
kind of stinks. Calvin Ridley for Dameon Pierce. Calvin Ridley's not playing great. However, it's not looking great for the
No,
Lettuce,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Big bye week this week also. Upon losing Fields, I picked up Sam Howell because my backup Stroud was on bye, along with my RB2, Dameon Pierce. However, Zeke scored a touchdown again. I think it was his 4th of the year. So not a terrible bench running back.
Okay. As it stands in League of Record, we are tied for second. We are 5-2 along with John and Jack, and then Alex, as one would expect, is at number 1, tied with Paul.
The old Yeez.
Why does Paul always have a good fantasy team? We don't know.
Especially with like 4 Saints on it at all
Yeah.
times.
Well, because the Saints' offense is stat padding, just not win padding.
Yeah, I don't want to talk
Just
about
not
Taysom
win
Hill
battle.
against the Texans.
Yeah, let's
Taysom
not.
Hill and Kamara are averaging like 12 catches a game.
And that's the 2 big ones he's got. He got Mike Thomas too, who's good for 1/2.
So we're tied for second at 5-2. Soundman, of course, is in this league as well. He's at 4-3. Just kind of up and down, but that could be due to, his running back situation as well. Considering he's got Breece Hall, but Khalil Herbert and Kyron Williams both on IR right now. So unfortunate for him. Everybody's having some running back troubles. We had 6 running backs on our roster this week, and 4 of them were injured. So we feel it too.
Yeah, heavy on the running back injuries this
Very
season.
heavy running back injury season. However, we're fighting through. Rhythm and Blues are powering on
Just
through it.
Hoping to turn it around.
Looking for our first playoff berth since coming into the league. This is our 3rd season in the league, and I think this is the best record we've had through 7 games. So, could be looking up for the Rhythm and Blues.
for
They're
y'all.
giving us a 70% chance to make the playoffs right now, which I think is 3rd in the league.
Hey.
So I'm not mad at that at all.
We've got the 2nd most points for.
Yeah, we do. We have a good squad this year, man. We do. I'm very proud of the job we did drafting. It's okay. We're used to you lying at this point.
I was looking at the wrong team. Sorry.
But yeah, fantasy football looking good for the Rhythm and Blues. Sleeper league, dynasty league that we're all in.
The win continues.
The streak continues of us being the only teams to keep winning.
Yeah.
We're all 3-6-1, I believe. You won this week.
Mm-hmm.
You won this week. I won this week. Yeah, you did. You scored the most points in the league.
Hey, how about it?
So 3-6-1 teams in our other league of record, that dynasty league that also contains Clown Carr and Lionel Frankenstein. So fantasy football for the boys this year,
Wow. I won a lot.
not too bad.
I won by a lot more than I thought I would. Because going into Monday Night
yeah.
Football, I was down by like 15 points.
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing the commissioner, Lionel.
Commish.
He had 130.
Mm-hmm.
I finished with 205.
Hello.
Shout out Glenn Kittle and Fred Warner.
Glenn Kittle. Rebo and I are just battling for most points scored in the league every week.
If I would have just benched Austin Eckler for Devonta Foreman, I would have scored 300 points.
Good for you, man. That
And-
would have been great.
And I forgot about Jordan
You
Addison.
still won, so who
Put up
cares?
36 points.
Yeah, he did. On my bench in big money. But I had him starting in a couple other leagues that really helped me out. So, fantasy football for the boys, not bad this year. Not terrible. Could be a lot worse.
Jordan Addison's looking like
We both had a good take. We drafted him in
he
like
is.
the 7th, 8th round, and then you got him in Dynasty. I mean, yeah. Very good player. 31 points last night. First 2 weeks, he scored a touchdown in each. So, good player. Anything else you boys want to talk about before we wrap up this OTD episode for the night? No more hot takes, Reese?
Go Pels.
Good point. I didn't even think about it like that.
Pels win.
Last thing to say before we close this thing on out is we do want to give an update on the NLCS as the World Series is marching upon us. The Rangers did win last night because they keep listening to Creed. It is,
Correct. Yep.
I mean, you're not going to lose when you listen to Creed. That's for sure.
Hello, my friend. We meet again. It's been a while.
1-1 bottom of the
He'll
third.
get it on the next episode.
1-1 bottom of the third, Diamondbacks and Phillies. So we'll see who makes the World Series there. Once that's finalized, next week we'll talk about the World Series. We'll talk about, by then we'll be a few games in, so we'll have to see who's winning it. Hopefully Clown Car can give his thoughts on, this past MLB season and not yell at me about Chris Olave. So
maybe a little bit of both.
Hopefully not. So as always, want to thank everybody for watching on YouTube, Off the Dome Sports Podcast. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, _Dome Pod. Make sure to follow the boys at the Know at Be in the Know, KNEAUX, the only way to spell it. Tons of content coming out of the Know Network. Tons of content coming out of OTD. Very happy with where we're at. Glad that we're finally on a schedule. There was a long time where we were just bouncing around hoping we could find a day to do it. Now we're pretty much solidified on Tuesdays. The occasional Monday, depending on Mustang's availability, but pretty much Tuesdays at 7 p.m. is where we're going to be. So if you're ever wondering, hey, when are they coming on? When's the episode? Tuesdays at 7 is probably your best bet. And then, as always, we are still on Spotify. We'll continue to be on Spotify, so check us out there, Off the Dome Sports Podcast. Anything else, boys?
I think that's it.
I think that'll do it. As always, we will see you next time.